Hello everyone and welcome to this Vimarsh video dedicated to most talked topic in last 2 months, which is EPFO higher pension. With less than 4 days to go to make this decision about higher pension, I am sure this video is going to help you answer the biggest question in everyone's mind, whether you should opt for it or not. This video is not going to cover the administrative part, that is how to apply, or it's not going to talk in details about who is eligible, who is not eligible, because you might have already done this exercise and you have this information handy. So those who are still tentative or do not know whether to opt for it or not, this video will give you a clear answer, but you will have to do some simulation with the help of Excel, which will be shared along with this video. So let's go ahead with this exciting part on the decision making for higher EPFO pension. Before we look at higher EPFO pension, let's look at how Provident Fund works. There are two contributors to Provident Fund. Employee contribution 12% of basic, employer contribution again 12% of basic. Of course, both of these go from your salary only, but these are the two contributors. Now, the two buckets into which our provident fund goes, one is called EPF, this is Employee Provident Fund, and second is EPS, which stands for Employee Pension Scheme. This is the component from which we will get the pension when we turn 58. Now 12% of employee contribution goes to EPF. This part remains unchanged even if you are going to opt for higher EPFO pension. Coming to EPS, currently 8.33% of a ceiling basic salary, which is 15,000 per year, which means 1250 rupees per month, is going into this EPS bucket. The remaining part of employer contribution, which is 12% of basic minus EPS contribution, this is going into EPF. This is a current two buckets of our provident fund, which means the pension that we are going to get is based on this contribution of 1250 rupees per month only. Just to make this very clear, let us look at a simple one page of our provident fund. Here is our provident fund statement, 2 lines. If you look at this part, which is 1250 per month going into pension contribution, this started from 2014 onwards because the statutory limit was increased to 15,000 rupees per year. Before that, before 2014, the statutory limit was 6,500. So you will see entries of 541 rupees per month. Now this is the contribution that actually goes to pension, and this will give you the pension when you turn 58. This is 12% of your basic, in this case 7,400 rupees. This is employee contribution. The employer contribution should also be 7,400, but it is 7,400 minus the 541 that goes into pension. So the remaining goes to EPF, which is 6,859. Similarly, 11,436 was October 2014 employee contribution, whereas employer contribution should be same, but then 1250 rupees goes to EPS. So less that 10,186 goes into the EPF bucket. I hope this provident fund is clear. If you want to see your statement, you can download Umang app, or you can create your credentials using UAN number, which is printed on your payslip on the EPFO member page. You can do that and you can see or download your passbook. So this is a simple structure of the current PF. Let's move to know how the formula for current pension is. So as I mentioned, there is a ceiling of basic salary which is 15,000 rupees per year, and hence the current pension is calculated as the current ceiling salary into pensionable service divided by 70. Let's say someone works for 35 years So he will get this 15,000 multiplied by 35 divided by 70. That is 7,500 rupees per month as his pension in the current scheme. Of course, as we saw, due to this ceiling, the contribution to EPS is low and hence the accumulation is low and the pension is low. So this is where the government came up with an idea and Supreme Court mandated that those who want to go for higher contribution to EPS should be eligible for higher pension also. Let's look at what this higher EPFO option is. So as per the Honorable Supreme Court's order in last year November, they mandated that the employees who are eligible for higher pension, which means their wages limit is exceeding 15,000 per month, why are they restricted to contribute only 8.33% of this limit, which is 15,000? They should be able to contribute more, and that is why Supreme Court said members can get the benefit of higher pension by contributing 8.33% of their actual salary and not 8.33% of 15,000. Okay, so this is the basic higher EPFO option that is given to employees, and by 3rd of May we have to make a decision, and once we say we want to go for higher pension or we give a consent, we will see in this video how it will work. So I hope you all understood that 8.33% of the actual salary versus 8.33% of 15,000. This is the difference of new EPFO pension, higher pension versus the current pension. So let's remember few points. The pension contribution that we are saying here is from the employer contribution. Okay, there is a change in the employer contribution distribution, let's say. There is no change in employee contribution. And one more point to remember is there is no interest on the account accumulated in the EPS bucket that we saw. The reason being, from this bucket we get a pension. Okay, so let us look at how the new pension will be calculated if you opt for higher EPFO option. The formula for calculating new pension is the average of 60 months salary multiplied by pensionable service divided by 70. Let's say someone retires at the age of 55, then and he has made a service of 35 years and his basic salary average of last 5 years, so which means when he was working from age 51 to 55, his average 60 months salary was 1 lakh, so that is considered. And then he made a service of 35 years, so 1 lakh into 35 divided by 70, so he will get 50,000 rupees as pension. Now you must be wondering that earlier current EPS option giving 7,500 and here it is giving 50,000, so I will jump on the option to get 50,000 pension. But there are factors which we need to consider before making this decision, and this video is precisely going to help you to make this decision. So let's see what contributes to this higher pension of 50,000, because to gain something you have to lose something or invest something. Let's see what it is. So the first primary component that will drive higher pension is the one-time movement of EPF to EPS bucket. As we saw earlier, the contribution to EPS bucket was limited. If we opt for higher pension, so higher amount should go to EPS. So there are two components. One is one-time movement and second is going forward 8.33% of the actual basic that will go to EPS. So these are the two main drivers of higher pension in case of higher EPFO option. Now the question comes that what is the factor to decide between current or higher EPFO option? We have to compare apples to apples, right? So let's say higher EPFO option, what it means is it will give you the pension for the whole of your life, and after your death your spouse will get 50% of pension. So this is option 2. What is option 1 to compare with this is your current EPS pension in the previous calculation we saw, which is 7,500, plus the higher corpus that you would accumulate in EPF bucket you can put it into an annuity option which is comparable to the higher EPFO pension, which means the annuity option you choose is with no return on principal, right? And after your death, 50% to your spouse. This is the option of annuity you should choose, because there are many options of annuity. If we compare these two options and we come up with a factor which is called current EPFO option versus higher EPFO pension, and we take this ratio, and in case the higher EPFO pension ratio comes to 1.5 times or more, then we would say that we are in green zone and we can opt for higher EPFO pension. Whereas if it is between 1 to 1.5, which means the higher EPFO pension is greater, but it ranges between 1 to 1.5 times the current pension plus annuity from higher EPF corpus, then I would say we are in yellow zone, and there are few factors we should consider before we make the decision. And of course, if this ratio is less than 1, which means higher EPFO pension is less than the current EPS option, it's obviously red and you will not go for it. Now, we will look at one working which will help you determine whether you are in red, yellow or green zone. Let me remind that everyone's simulation will be different. So you will have to do your own simulation and come up with this factor, and depending on whether you are in red, yellow, green, you can make a decision to go for higher EPFO pension. Let's look at this working now. First and foremost, I must thank my friend Vikram Kamthe, data scientist, who helped to make this simulation. Let us understand this simulation. This is a scenario where someone who started his second job in 2008, or he was on site, he came back in 2008, or he was working in previous company, he sold his provident fund before, so he actually started to accumulate from 2008. So that is why the starting year is 2008, age is 32 and pension year is 0. And his monthly basic is given in the column 4. So these are the 4 columns that you will have to fill up in this simulation based on your own situation. What is your monthly basic? You can easily see from the provident fund because the 12% of the employee contribution. So from there you can backtrack and mention your monthly basic here. Okay. So these 4 columns is what you have to fill. Now let us look at this EPS contribution per month and per year. As we saw earlier, this 6500, which is ceiling basic salary until 2014, and then 15,000 is ceiling basic salary from 2014 onwards. Okay. Now let's say an individual continue with his current EPS, then he doesn't have to give any money from EPF to EPS. So in this case, the difference between the monthly basic salary versus the EPS contribution, so which means 61667 less 6500, continues to stay in the EPF bucket, right? Now this rate of interest on the EPF bucket I have taken as 8.65, because last 15 years average rate of interest from EPFO is about 8.65. So for simple calculation, we have taken average 8.65. So every year you accumulate 8.65 plus the new contribution. So by 2023, except the EPS contribution, you would accumulate 29,49,000 in this EPF bucket. So let's say today on 3rd May, you decided to opt for EPS option or higher EPFO option, then you have to move this amount one-time movement from EPF bucket to EPS bucket. And remember, EPS bucket will not give you interest, it will give you higher pension starting age 58. Now, as we said, comparing apples to apples, if I stay with current option, I will not give this money to EPS, I will keep it in EPF, and it will start accumulating based on the yearly interest that EPFO will give. Considering the future, we have considered 7% rate of interest from EPFO. So this 29,000, which is in 2023, will turn out to 89 lakhs in 2034 when you will turn 58. Now, in current scheme, the old pension scheme that we can say you will get 5,571. Remember the formula. The ceiling basic salary multiplied by pensionable service, which is 26 years divided by 70, you will get 5,571 only as a pension. But let's say this 89 lakh that you have accumulated, you give to LIC with an annuity option of no return on principal. Give me the pension until I am alive and then 50% to my spouse. Anyone who is age 58 today is getting 7.5% annuity rate. So that will give him 55 lakh 851. So give everything to LIC, 89 lakhs to LIC or any annuity provider. You will get a monthly payout of 55,851. So sum together the pension and this payout, 61,422 will be your total pension in current EPS scheme. Now let's say you move this corpus, you give away with this corpus, you move away from here to EPS and you opt for higher EPFO pension. In this case, the formula for new pension will be average of last 5 years basic. So here it is these 5 years of basic, you take the average multiplied by 26 years of service divided by 70, will give you a pension of about 73,000. Now comparing this 73,000 with 61,000, the ratio that we said higher EPFO to current pension ratio is 1.2, which means we are in yellow zone. Now why I say that 1 to 1.5 is yellow and you have to think, because everyone's thinking is different. Few people think that if I am getting higher pension, let me jump on it because it's a safest option and this is what I want. Some people think otherwise. I can manage my money better than anyone else. Hence, I don't want to give the money to someone else. I will manage it on my own and effectively. This is where your behavioral finance will come in picture, and depending on your situation, your risk appetite, but at least this factor will drive you to see whether you are in yellow or you are in green. Let's say, for example, this factor was green, more than 1.5. You can simply go for higher EPFO option because that is the most beneficial option to choose for. Now, I hope this Excel is clear. In case if you think that you are not able to fill this up, you just have to fill up the 4 columns though. And if you have worked for more than 26 years, simply try to insert some rows, copy the formulas, and everything will be calculated for you. Just remember, if there are few things that need to be changed, these are the orange rows where formula needs to change. And even in case of the higher pension, a slight change in formulas are required. In case if you face any difficulties, you can ask me or call me to clarify how to calculate that. But I hope this calculation is clear. The link to this Excel has been provided in the video itself. You can take the Excel from there and do your own simulation. And thanks to Vikram again for providing this clear and concise Excel. So with this simulation, now what will be the verdict? So who should opt for it? Government employees anticipating job until 58 years and having steady increase in basic definitely should opt for it. Those who have completion of about 20 years of service and anticipate few more years of working should also go for it, because in the simulation we saw that they tend to be in green zone. Those who anticipate long job horizon and ready to compromise the availability of fund, because we saw that we have to move the funds from EPF to EPS. So if you are okay, you are not going to require this fund anytime in future. If you are 40, you are not going to require it for next 18 years, go for it. But who should avoid it? Those who are having uncertainty of their job in next few years. They do not know whether you are going to contribute or not. Plus those who may anticipate emergency fund for family needs in next few years, and you may want to opt this money out of the PF bucket, then you should avoid it, because once you move your corpus from EPF to EPS, you will not be able to withdraw it and you will not get any interest on it. Of course, you will get pension on it. So depending on your situation, the key takeaway is The Excel that you get, do your own calculation with the simulation that we saw. If new EPFO option is 1.5 or greater than it, you are in green zone, go for it. 1 to 1.5, discuss the factors with your financial planner based on your risk appetite, based on your financial needs in next few years. Decide whether you want to opt for higher EPFO pension or not. And of course, if it is less than 1, it's a no-go. This is the key takeaway of this video, and once you do your simulation, you will know what to do with your higher EPFO option. I hope this video helps you to make the decision before 3rd May. So what are you waiting for? Go and do your own simulation. And in case if you have any difficulties in doing this simulation, or you have questions even after doing the simulation, you can contact me or you can contact your financial planner to make this decision. Uh, it's always beneficial to consult a financial planner for such decisions rather than taking a emotional decision or decisions without proper data sets. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to have any doubts clarified, any questions, feel free to call me on 7720006453. And I hope you like this video, the data points, the decision factors, and the clarity that we brought on this topic. If you really think that this is going to help in your personal financial planning, do like and subscribe the Vimer's channel so that it motivates me to create such more videos. Thank you very much and good luck to all of you.